Dealing with the loss and death of a child is never easy, and situations like today's first story remind you just how hard it can be, especially across long distances and when people don't want to talk to each other. G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, and welcome back to another episode of r/AmITheA. Now, if you love today's bloody good content, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and get ready for some more interesting stories. Thank you. Am I the asshole for not letting my ex-husband have my deceased daughter's ashes? I'm an Indian woman who came to the United States on a student's visa and met my ex-husband Dean. My family wasn't happy about the relationship, but eventually relented when they realized we were serious about each other. I got pregnant a few months into our marriage and gave birth to our daughter Asha. After I gave birth, I developed PPD, and as a result our marriage suffered and never really recovered. I was on antidepressants. 2 years after her birth, my ex-husband got close to his co-worker Laura, and they began a 2-year torrid affair. When he eventually got caught, he apologized for hurting my feelings, but claimed he was in love with Laura. We divorced, and I was left in the US all alone without any emotional or family support. The divorce happened in 2017, and we shared 50-50 custody of Asha. In February 2020, I decided to visit my family in India, as my extended family had never met my daughter. The original plan was to stay in India for 3 months, but the plans changed as the world got locked down. One day, my daughter complained of uneasiness and stomach pain after she had her usual lunch. I gave her a digestive enzyme and asked her to rest. When I went to check in on her an hour later, she was gone. I still don't know what happened that day, but after that moment, everything was a blur. My sister informed my ex-husband, but because borders were shut, he couldn't come to India for the rituals. I cremated my girl according to Hindu rituals, and later immersed her ashes in the Ganges as per our customs. I have refused to take any calls from my ex in the past year. I am still dealing with grief. My ex has reached out to me and wants my address to get some of her ashes. I let my sister convey to him that the ashes have been disposed of as per customs. He is now furious and wants me to come back to the United States and give him some of her toys. I have planned on never going back. He already has some of her clothes and toys, and I refuse to directly talk to him. That part of my life is over and done. Am I the asshole? To answer a few questions. 1. We were told she suffered a cardiac arrest. She was already dead when she was brought to the nearest hospital. My ex was sent all the details in the hospital documents. 2. He and his family were sent the Zoom link for the funeral. 3. He already has half of her belongings. 4. I didn't keep her ashes. It was disposed of the day after her cremation in the Ganges, as per Hindu religious beliefs. 5. He was informed of all the rituals that were going to take place beforehand. He probably didn't understand them. 6. No, I wasn't in contact with him, my family was. 7. The reason he had no problem with me taking Asha to India was because in 2019 he took her to Russia to meet his grandparents. 8. When we left for India, it was early Feb. We didn't realize COVID was going to be a global pandemic. And 9. My ex's heritage is Russian Jewish. He didn't follow his religion when we were married, and I raised her Hindu. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. 1. The fact that I didn't save some of the ashes for him. I refused to talk to him after she died and let my family do the talking. And 2. Because I failed to consider that he might have wanted some of the ashes. As per our customs, we immerse the ashes for the soul's mukti, liberation. Now in the comments, Jeepers Creepers says, "You are dealing with a lot, and I don't think this sub is the place for you right now. That said, you asked and you're the asshole. I understand you're grieving the loss of your daughter, but so is your ex. You say what happened to Asha on the day she got sick is a mystery to you, and you were there. Imagine how he feels that he saw his daughter off on what was supposed to be a 3-month vacation, is then told she's dead, is then told that her remains have been disposed of, and can't even get you to talk to him. If I were him, I would half suspect that Asha is still alive and the whole thing is a ruse to cut her off from him. Please consider talking directly to him. It may not be as painful as you were anticipating. In fact, it may help you grieve with the one person who can understand how it feels to have lost your daughter. You're the asshole. He is her father. He was an active part of her life and you were being vindictive. His affair had nothing to do with him being a father and wanting to have a part of his daughter. I hope you can live with yourself for being so horrible to a grieving parent. You had no right to unilaterally decide what to do with her remains. Your customs don't override his. You should have given him half of the ashes. I'm trying so hard not to be harsh, because OP has suffered an unimaginable loss, but yeah, every bit of this screams vindictive and payback for her ex's affair. He lost a child too, and not only that, he didn't get to hear it from OP, and he had zero involvement in how her remains were handled, and now he can't even get OP to talk to him. He sucks for his affair, but like you said, that has zero influence on his ability to be a father. OP is being incredibly selfish about this. Not the asshole. I don't understand all the "you're the assholes" here. There is no provision for ashes to be separated. Had she passed away while in his custody, would he give you anything to cremate? And if he needs something to remember her by, he can take anything that's ashes left behind in America. And edit, I see mostly comments that don't understand the Hindu religion. Dividing the ashes is equal to dismemberment. Had Asha died in the ex's custody, could OP, stuck in India, reasonably ask for 50% of the body? Absurd, isn't it? Now, let's not talk about absurd requests. Had Asha died in ex's custody, she would have been buried in a land 7 seas away from her mother. By this spreading of the ashes, it's more fair that none of the parents have Asha, but her memories, like toys, etc., which OP says is distributed equally among them. And back to the post, OP says, I realize that people believe I'm the asshole. I understand and accept the judgment. I didn't ask for advice, and no, I'm not going to talk to him ever again. We are done. He can hate me, I don't care. Since he didn't get to be with her in her last days, I'll be sending him a pair of her shoes that she wore during her India visit. My family will contact him regarding the same. Me not talking to him personally is nothing out of the normal. Even when Asha was alive, I kept communication to what the court stipulated. No chit-chat, no weather talk, it was just business. We communicated via email, and I have no reason to talk to him now. People can call this being vindictive. I call this my boundary. And our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for telling my husband I will stop locking the bathroom door when he stops barging in? My husband has been barging into the bathroom lately when I'm inside, and for no reason at all. I'd tell him I was going to use the bathroom, then a couple of minutes later he'd barge in and ask what I was doing. Like, he already knows I'm in there peeing, etc., and it's not like I was taking too long for him to be worried. I told him I don't like how he barges in like that. He said it was no big deal and that he was checking in on me when I've only been in there for 2 minutes. I'm a private person, and like any other human, I don't like being walked in on in the bathroom. So I asked him to please stop barging in and respect my privacy. He said fine. Well, yesterday he did it again. Literally barged in after I said I was going to use the bathroom, and he went inside for a couple of seconds, then walked out. I followed him and had an argument with him about how he kept disrespecting my privacy. He brushed me off, so my next visit to the bathroom, I locked the door. 2 minutes later, he was about to barge in, but didn't know the door was locked and yelled outside, asking if I locked the door and why I'd lock it. I kept him waiting till I was finished, then walked out and told him why I locked the door, and it's because of his constant barging and repeated violation of my privacy. He laughed sarcastically, asking, "Are you being serious right now? I'm your husband, and for F's sake, why are you acting like I'm your roommate and lock the door?" I said it's because of his behavior, and he asked me to please stop locking the door, as it was hurtful of me to do that to him, but I told him until he stops barging in, I won't be leaving the door unlocked. He got pissed, called me unbelievable, then stormed outside to smoke. Now in the comments, not the asshole. It kinda reads to me like he's trying to catch you at something. Your boundaries are more than appropriate. Yeah, this seems super weird to me. I'd maybe somewhat understand if OP was a recovering drug addict or something, but this is abnormal as hell. Yeah, when I was using, I would 100% hide in the bathroom from my significant other. Even then, he didn't barge in, lol. Yeah, my mum was a bad drug addict, and locked bathroom doors in my house always just made my heart sink because it meant that she was using again. Now, my little sister has issues with self-harm, so they do the same thing for different reasons. If neither of those are an issue for OP, I see no reason for the husband's behavior. Have they been married long, and has this just started? It seems like either a trust thing or maybe a fetishy thing. You say this is a recent change in his behavior. He obviously thinks he's going to catch you doing something. He's being paranoid and suspicious, and it's time for him to explain why. You are not the asshole, maintain your boundaries, and call out his inappropriate behavior every single time. Yeah, the story as told is super weird. Who would suddenly expect to do this and not raise a massive question marks about it? He thinks she's cheating, doing drugs, taking sneaky pregnancy tests? I just can't imagine how he thinks he's not going to have to explain his sudden need to be in the bathroom with her, and then say he's hurt. Not the asshole. Additionally, sometimes people project. So if he thinks you're in there doing something bad, cheating on the phone, etc., maybe he's the one doing that. Walk in on him next time. I sort of hope this is all because he's taking sneaky pregnancy tests and projecting that. Not the asshole. What the hell is wrong with that dude? The bathroom should always be a place where you have some privacy. He's extra controlling, and that is unhealthy. Our next post is titled, "Am I the asshole for defending my son's decision to not invite his friend to his birthday party over a food allergy?" Hi everyone. I won't be going into specifics with regards to names or ages. So my son has a birthday party every year. At this party, he always has food that consists of one of his favorite flavors of cake, such as chocolate, pineapple, etc. This year, he has decided that he wants the theme to be strawberry-flavored food. Now, I'm sure most people will agree with me that having birthday parties with a food theme isn't an issue. However, in this case, it is. My son has a friend in his class. This friend has been to every birthday party my son has had. The problem is that this friend has a strawberry allergy, so you can see where this issue would stem from. My son said that he wants to have a strawberry-flavored food theme for his party, and that his friend likely won't be able to come due to his allergy. I told my son that if that's what he wants, then he's allowed to do that, since it is his birthday. My son told his friend about his plans, and according to my son, he made it clear that him not inviting him wasn't to be malicious, and that the only reason he wasn't invited was due to his food allergy. According to my mum, his friend thinks I'm being an ass by supporting my son's decision to not invite this friend, since she believes that a birthday party needs to be inclusive. Am I the asshole in this case? And edit, the child's allergy isn't life-threatening, however, if he were to eat a strawberry, he would have to go home to say the very least. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I may be the asshole in this case, since some people may argue that I should make my son have a different theme for his birthday party so that his friend is able to come. Now in the comments, Yasmin Eats Apples says, Sure. He has a friend with a well-known strawberry allergy, and this little dude just happens to want a strawberry-themed birthday. Not just a cake, that would be easily resolvable, but a whole-ass theme. Lamau? If this is how he handles his fights with his friends, it's a super underhanded strategy. Wasn't meant to be malicious? Come on. No one's stupid enough to believe that. Like, yeah, sure it's his birthday, so it's whatever, but for him to pretend he's not doing it on purpose? Everyone sucks here except for the allergic kid. Poor thing. I mean, if OP's kid does not like his friend, he could just say so. We do not get along, and I don't feel like inviting you to my party is acceptable. I refuse to make food that won't kill you, and I'm not even open to the idea of finding a solution so that you could come. Is not. You're the asshole. You raised a punk and let him hurt another kid. Either birthday boy hates the kid and is doing this to be an asshole, or he likes the kid and is so self-absorbed he didn't give a crap about excluding his friend. Or, this allergic kid could be an asshole to him? Why are you making such assumptions without knowing enough? If the kid wants the party because he likes strawberry, it's fine. If the kid doesn't want the allergic kid in his party, it is also fine. No kid should be forced to be friends with someone they don't like. You're the asshole because you didn't even think about just buying a damn cupcake of a different flavor for the kid with the allergy, or even contacting the friend's parent and saying, look, this is the situation, and letting the parents help include their kid. I know plenty of parents who will happily send their kid with a sack lunch or whatever, just so the kid isn't left out. I too was wondering why a cupcake or a few couldn't be bought to accommodate the allergy. I wondered if his choice was specifically to exclude this kid. Are the two fighting? That was my first thought as well. He knew about this allergy, yet chose strawberry of all things. Strawberry doesn't really make sense to base an entire meal and dessert on. And our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to let my family meet my daughter after all of them dropped out of my wedding upon finding out my wife was pregnant? I come from a conservative Christian family. All my family members were and are involved in the church and have church-based jobs. When they met my wife, they loved her and embraced her as their own. We dated for 2 years and discovered that she was pregnant after we got engaged. Invitations were already given at the time, and we decided to still have the wedding on the date when my wife was 5 months in. My family were furious when they found out my wife was pregnant. They asked if we even still considered having a wedding. I said why not, but they were very upset, especially my mum and dad, who said they've always been known for their decency and good Christian values, and weren't willing to let this stain their reputation. As in my wife and I getting married while pregnant. They officially dropped out and refused to negotiate, saying it was done, and I have only myself to blame for this outcome and should move the wedding out of town. I was hurt, but I tried to change their minds and checked in with other members, but my brother said that he had no intentions to look like a joke in front of his fellow church members and dropped out. My aunt pretended to be sick and said she may not be able to make it. She's 100% healthy. My cousin said he had a business trip and stopped his wife and kids from attending, and my uncle cussed me out, tore the invitation, and kicked me out. I felt terrible with no family members of my own to support me and share my joy at my wedding. I even broke down crying after the ceremony. I haven't spoken to them for months, and then got busy with my 4-week-old daughter. My cousin reached out to hand me gifts and well wishes for the birth of my daughter sent from my family. I returned everything. He sat with me on behalf of the family, saying I shouldn't have returned the gifts that were from my family, who wants to see and hopefully be involved in my daughter's life. He said Mum is longing to meet her grandbaby, and everyone else is wanting to visit soon to celebrate my daughter's life. I asked him this question. I said, wasn't my daughter the reason why the entire lot of them abandoned my wedding? He just stared grudgingly as I went on about how they treated my daughter as something to be ashamed of and hide. My daughter at some point will ask about the wedding, and I have no intentions on lying to her. He replied saying he guaranteed I got it all wrong, and no matter what goes down between us, I can never deny that my daughter is their granddaughter, niece, etc., and they are her family. He asked that I arrange for them to visit, but I refused. He kept pressing the idea, but I shut it down. My wife says I should let them come, but I still refused. Now in the comments, Greek American Dom says, not the asshole. Let your family know that, like a good Christian, you are willing to forgive, but they have sinned against you and God. Jesus' highest teaching after loving God is to love everyone as he loves us, including sinners, non-believers, and enemies. Their actions towards you were not about love, but ego and pride. They were more worried about what others might think than simply loving you and your family. Jesus also taught not to judge others. That's the whole point of, let he who has no sin cast the first stone. They certainly cast that stone. Let them know that you feel that you have done your work to be good with God and have nothing to apologize to them for. Have they? Until they come to you with a genuine apology that admits exactly how they wronged you and sinned against you and your wife, keep them away. And OP replies, "Indeed. Despite what they've done, I haven't changed my views about my religion as a Christian myself. I know that it was more about their reputation and name than anything else, really." And someone replies to that, "I am not Christian, and a vengeful sort. You should hold a huge christening and purposely exclude your family in the family church. And when asked why the family won't be there, explain that they shunned the wedding because of the pregnancy, so they are not in support of your child." Finance Remarkable 881 says, "Not the asshole. Keep them away from your daughter. You're right. They are toxic. My friend had a similar thing happen, but let the family back into his life. He found out years later that the family would pull his daughter aside from when she was about 4 up until when she was about 12 or 13 to tell her that she was an idiot and a sinner. Awful stuff. He immediately cut off his family again when he found out, but it really screwed his daughter up for a while until he got her therapy. This OP, I hope you strongly consider the damage your family could do to your daughter. One can be Christian without being judgmental, but I don't think your family has figured that out. Congrats on your marriage and the birth of your daughter. Long and happy life to the three of you. I personally think that they reap what they sow. Plain and simple. They ditched you as a family because of your daughter. Now you need to protect her from them. What if they pull this on her? What if she does something they don't like or they consider a stain on their reputation? No, they do not deserve to meet her. They ended that relationship themselves, not you. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I have in-laws who use religion to try to control and shame and judge me. I've walked away and am so much happier not being around any of them, so I know where you're coming from. Anyway guys, I think that's where I'm going to end today's video. If you did like it, tell me what you thought about it down in the comments below, and make sure to just interact with everyone in this community. I love each and every one of you that I get to see on a daily basis. And don't forget, if you are a Patreon subscriber, I love you. You're on the screen right now with the YouTube members as well. If you see yourself, give yourself a pat in the back. You guys help me continue this YouTube journey. You keep me going. I see you guys everywhere. I see your messages, and thank you so much for supporting me. I really love every single one of you. But with that all said, I'm going to be signing off now, guys. I hope you have a good day, night, sleep, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.